it, this is the main event. Both of these men have gone through 3 incredible matches to make it here tonight, but only one is going to walk away with that prestigious ring around their hand.
You know, you use the verb walk away. I don't think so. They might end up crawling out. They might end up being dragged out. That's the sort of punishment that they've gone through and may give to one another.
Based on damage alone, I'd say Bryan keeps walking in at maybe like 50-60%, whereas Warren Johnson's walking in maybe like at 70-80 or so.
I'm not a medical professional. I certainly can't make any sort of predictions like that. But I can tell you, based on the matches and what we've seen, my own eyes are telling me that Bryan Keith has taken an unbelievable amount of punishment. If there is any chance in hell for Bryan Keith to win this tournament here, this match, I don't know where it's going to be coming from, but it is going to be an absolute, I can't even describe what the crowd is going to sound like if Bryan Keith can pull this out. Opportunist in me, Kirby, says if I'm Warren Johnson, I have my guys at the ready. And we've seen it throughout the course of this day. But the wrestling enthusiast in me wants it to be just this mano-a-mano battle of attrition. I hope we get that. I know the fans hope that we get that.
And here we go. The bell has rung.
You know, I'm tallying up right now the times, right? I'm trying to figure out who may have the slight advantage. I'm tallying up the times here on my stopwatch for the amount of time that these two men have been in the ring today. And by far, Bryan Keith has been in the ring longer today, almost 2 hours. 2 hours.
That's a long time. See both men just taking a little bit of time before they lock up, or just trying to find their opening, because they know that both of them are exhausted. Both of them come in here on an almost empty tank. This is going to be the biggest war of attrition that we are ever going to see in the reality of wrestling thus far.
I don't know what you do. Grab an energy drink, grab about 3 5-hour energies, whatever it takes. Because, again, not only is it the lack of energy that you may have, you've got to get your adrenaline flowing. It has been a constant stop, start, right? How much have the muscles seized up? Those maybe bruised, battered, broken bones, how much are they starting to swell up? A lot of these things, it really makes it difficult when you do this on-again, off-again thing.
Now, Ryan Romano, thank you for that $5 super chat saying Bryan Keith, Road to Wrestling Royalty Champ. You know, I think both me and Russo here agree with you. That's what we're hoping to see here, but...
Whoa, wait a second. Hold on a second. I've got a lot of confidence in Bryan Keith. I am not discounting. But don't put words in my mouth here, Kirby. Warren Johnson is going to bring his A game. Now, whether or not he brings the rest of his goon squad with him, that remains to be seen. But it's going to be a formidable opponent, especially if you go for the weak spots.
And we saw Zach Mason go after those ribs, and Warren Johnson didn't wait either going after those ribs, except the one big difference here is that Warren Johnson is going to be relentless, and he's going to break rules doing it.
Warren Johnson is going to use every means possible. We've seen Warren Johnson attack on the outside. We've seen Warren Johnson use the ropes for his offensive maneuvers. But Bryan Keith would have, by now, taken a little bit of time to scout and see and ultimately try to counteract.
Here, Bryan Keith still able to connect with those kicks to the chest. It is no joke, ladies and gentlemen, when we say he's the quickest kicks in the South.
Again, we want to thank everybody tuning into this YouTube live stream. We want those donations to keep coming in for Bryan Keith and Warren Johnson. They have been putting on an absolute clinic all day today. Make sure you let everybody know that this finals matchup is straight fire. Whoa.
Oh, look at this. The cross body by Warren Johnson. And ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to keep sharing the link. Let the world know that we've got one of the best main events here in Reality of Wrestling. But Bryan Keith still able to kick out before the 3. This match will continue. And look at the, you can see the damage. You could just read it, the pain right on his face.
Smart, very smart here. If Warren could pull apart for the ab stretch. And that's what's interesting about this match here, Kirby. There's not working to soften up the body for a finishing maneuver or something of that sort. It's already softened up. Any little tweak, any little thing could spell the end of this match.
Absolutely, and look at this abdominal stretch, just trying to stretch everything out of Bryan Keith, and the labored breathing by Bryan Keith.
Whoa!
It's just on a low, but look at that, managed to flip him over with that hip toss, trying to go for a second one, but the abs, the gut, the ribs, they just would not help Bryan Keith there.
Wow. I mean, at this point, if a couple of ribs may be broken or busted by now, Warren wants to get them all taken care of. You know, that's going to make Bryan keel over. Might not make Bryan be able to properly connect the kicks. They look painful, but is it all? Is Bryan Keith catching all on those kicks?
Look at this, Warren Johnson, a very concentrated effort
Whoa.
to go after the ribs here. He's got him all kinds of twisted up here. This is something I've never seen from Warren Johnson before.
Whoa.
As now he's just stretching out Bryan Keith.
Squatting into the stretch, dropping Bryan Keith. Warren needs to get right on for the cover. I mean, right on the cover. Press. That was just precious seconds.
And
precious
look at that.
seconds.
Did you see that? Warren Johnson winced in pain whenever he put an extra force on that pinfall. So you know the damage is there from the shoulder, from the knees, from the previous matchups.
Talk about earlier what this championship brought to Zach Mason in the last year as the Rise to Wrestling Royalty Champion. For either of these stars, what it would do for them to walk out to be presented with that 24-karat gold ring, I mean, it's going to take their career to a whole nother stratosphere.
Absolutely, and again, you mentioned Zach Mason. What can it do for either of these men here? Oh, the senton from Warren, driving all of the weight onto Bryan Keith.
And staying on that waist control, just squeezing the life. Well, we want to thank the Best Damn Wrestling Podcast for that $9.99 donation. Listen, we're calling it like we see it. And what we are witnessing right now, win, lose, or draw both of these men, this is absolutely going to be an instant match of the year contender. And now a cover for Warren Johnson.
Bryan Keith somehow still finding it in him to continue to kick out here. They know what's on the line, and it's going to take literally everything. You have to empty your arsenal and then some in order to get the win here. And look at that. Warren Johnson gets caught by Bryan Keith.
You turn your back. You create too much distance, like what Warren did. Bryan's going to take advantage. Man, Bryan Keith, you want to talk about in the last 6 months, a wrestling star that has gotten more buzz and more eyeballs. Nobody more than Bryan Keith. This would just add to the resume to be the most impressive superstar in 2021.
And I think if this position tells me anything, I think Bryan Keith is trying to go for a big side effect here. But first, it looks like Warren Johnson has changed the plans, as now Bryan Keith could be getting caught. Look at that from the top rope! A Hurricane Rana that may have just absolutely ended Bryan Keith's run here in this tournament.
Warren has to scramble over. Warren could do it. Warren could do it. The leg is hooked. Is it a joke?
What is Bryan Keith made out of right now? Having gone through all the matches that he has, to still find it in him to be able to kick out.
It's that Texas grit, Kirby. It's that Texas grit. I wish you and I could really understand it the way Bryan Keith does, but there's something about that spirit of Bryan Keith, and it's coming out. We're seeing it right now.
Chopping the hell out of each other too. And look at the look on Bryan's face. He is determined. He connects with that enziguri. Warren is rocked. Bryan, this is your opportunity. Look at that, getting hooked in.
Side effect. Bryan got it hooked. Oh.
I don't know what it's going to take for either of these competitors to go down here, Russo. Both of them are connecting with some of their best shots here. And I don't know. I don't know.
Warren Johnson should have stayed on the offensive the way that he was. You get into a punching contest and a brawl with Bryan Keith, BK is going to take full advantage. Look at this. The rodeo DDT maybe, Kirby. Watch out now.
Warren Johnson knew exactly what's coming. He had it scouted. Misses with that clothesline. I'm sorry, the forearm. As now, Bryan Keith has got the arms hooked. Maybe thinking dragon suplex here. He's got him up, but no.
Shine Bright, thank you so much for donating and understanding how awesome this match is today. And right now, Bryan Keith, look at that! Dropping it on his head!
The Tiger Driver from Bryan Keith. That is something I've never seen him do before.
Oh my gosh. Speechless here. The Rogue Nation, I mean, just trying to give their all and everything to Bryan Keith. Warren Johnson has got to figure out some way to get up. Not by working that leg, though. Warren Johnson's in a world of hurt.
Look at this. The dragon screws right here from Bryan Keith. He's going to go right after the knees. He definitely paid attention to that match between Warren and Will Allday earlier today, now going after the knees, trying to basically eliminate half of Warren's moveset here.
Not usually an area that Bryan Keith goes after from a submission point of view, but whatever it takes to win, and Warren weaseling his way to the ropes.
Very smart play right there by Warren to go into the ropes to try and get a little bit of separation here. As you can see him removing that knee pad, lowering it just a little bit to give his knee a little bit more room to move. But the kicks from Bryan Keith connect.
Oh! It's resonating here in the arena at this point. You're throwing all caution to the wind, Kirby. Forget it. Forget it. Pro wrestling, technical, this is not it. This right now is just punch your opponent, kick your opponent till they can't stand.
Bryan Keith here is trying to end this matchup by going for one rodeo DDT, but instead changes his tactic and goes for another chop.
Oh, right back to the ribs, that midsection.
Oh, look at
Oh,
this,
boy.
going for the ropes, trying to go for that DDT, but instead, Bryan Keith switches over the momentum. Now Warren Johnson goes to the back instead, and here we go, back and forth,
Oh,
as
shoot.
both of them run into the referee, and now the referee is down.
Nobody there to maintain order. I've got this sinking suspicion, Kirby. We've seen this play out through the day. God bless.
Warren Johnson with his trusted ace in the hole with
My
that
gosh,
low blow.
That's going to put Bryan out. That's going to put Bryan out. No, not this way. No, the referee is seeing this. Did not catch the low blow. BK's still in it. Bryan Keith is still in it.
And now probably going for it again. Warren Johnson not going for that swinging neck breaker, but instead, Bryan Keith takes him up top. He's got that rodeo DDT. Is this it? Has Bryan Keith become the new? With the rodeo DDT, still not enough. Right there, like BK was going to go for another rodeo DDT, but Warren Johnson with the wherewithal to be able to escape out of that, and now going for 2 kicks to the midsection, going after those injured ribs.
Oh
that
God.
DDT may have almost connected, but Bryan Keith switched it up, and now here we see him up.
Hooks! Come on! Bryan Keith!
Absolute war that we just witnessed between these two men. This is what the rise to wrestling royalty is all about. You know, we talk about achievements here in the reality of wrestling. We talk about everything that you can accomplish here, and now Bryan Keith has just added his name to another very short list. Bryan Keith is the newest Rise to Wrestling Royalty Champion. 4 matches in one night. Bruised ribs or not, it didn't matter. No one would deny Bryan Keith here tonight. The fans here in the World Gym Arena are absolutely fired up for Bryan Keith here today. As ladies and gentlemen, Bryan Keith is not only your champion, he's going to remind you to cowboy up, because dreams do come true once again.